Hey there, welcome back to my channel. And today I would like to introduce, I think, a new feature that I would like to have here on the blog. Just share some of the things that I'm currently enjoying. Anything from YouTube channels to products to apps to food to whatever my favorite of the week is on a regular basis. And I'm not sure what it's going to be called. I think this week we will call it either fall favorites or Friday favorites. It's going to be fall favorites. And some of these things are favorites that have been favorites for a while, that I've been using for a while. And some might be just something that are kind of new for this week. The first thing is something new that I just got yesterday, and it is a new deck. What it is the Wild Unknown Archetypes Deck and Guidebook by Kim Krans. And I have the Wild Unknown Tarot, and it is one of my favorite tarot decks, oddly enough, because it's not a tarot. The Wild Unknown Tarot deck is not the type of tarot deck that I normally would say that I like. And I had bought it as a gift for my daughter, and she enjoyed it. And then on a whim, I purchased it from a local store. And when I was in there getting a different deck, I love it. It's just, there's something, I really connected quickly with that deck. So when I saw, well, I didn't see, my sister, my oldest sister, Pam, has been kind of diving deeply into archetypes again in her personal practice and sharing that with me and our other sister. She bought this deck and guidebook recently and shared it with us. And then yesterday I was at a used bookstore slash, it's not only used bookstore, but because it's post-Halloween, all their kind of witchy stuff was near the front of the store. And they had a display of all their tarot and decks and things. And I saw it there and I was like, oh, well, I think I'm meant to buy this. So I did. So the cards are round, which is different. I have, this is the first time the cards have been out of the box. The box, so it comes, let's go back. That was like the sleeve. And then it comes in this very nice box, you know, that then that sleeve slides over this box. And this round box with a lid with the cards in it fits inside here. And then the guidebook fits inside there. So everything is packaged nicely. I dove into this yet. So I don't know if it would classify as a Friday favorite or a fall favorite, because I haven't really started, but it's a future favorite. How about that? It's a future favorite. The origin story, I guess, if you will, of this deck leads me to probably one of my favorites from the year, I would have to say. It's not even a fall favorite. It's post-COVID favorite or something like that. Is something that has helped me cope with all the stuff going on in my life this past year, between isolation of COVID, moving, divorcing, just all the stuff that we've all, some of it we've all been through together, but separated. And that is the Marco Polo app. And again, this is not a sponsored ad. This is just something I have used. It's just simply a video communication app. How it's really saved my life and my sanity this year and opened up all kinds of insights and opportunities is my sisters and I. I have two older sisters. One lives outside of Chicago in Illinois, and one lives back home in Michigan, in our hometown. So we don't get to physically see each other very often. And at the beginning, during, COVID lockdown, we were doing, maybe weekly sister Zoom calls. And those were fun. Point, I think everyone on the planet was zoomed out. Like, can I do another freaking Zoom call? We discovered this Marco Polo app, and I don't think there has been a day since we started using it that we have not communicated using it. Sometimes multiple times a day, almost to the annoyance of all of us, that we're constantly, ding, 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 there's another Marco Polo from somebody. But we're communicating and talking like we haven't since we were girls. And I don't even know if we did, even as sisters, living under the same roof, communicated in the way that we're communicating now. And it enabled us to organize and put together and dream up a whole new venture, the Weird Sisters, which we did a event for Mabon, an event for Samhain, online event that people could sign up for and participate in, that we're expanding and growing through this collaboration, the three of us, and sharing our daily practice, sharing our daily frustrations, our daily joys. I was able to at like 6 a.m. when I was going through my kidney stone thing, leave a message for them that they didn't get till they woke up in the morning, but at least when they woke up in the morning, they knew I'm in the, I messaged them, I just called 911. There's a ambulance on its way to my house. And, beauty of it is also that we can check it when we have free time. I can leave my messages when I'm driving in my car, watch them when I'm waiting it's just very convenient, and it has really brought us together. And I have a few other friends that are on there that I communicate with semi-regularly, but it has definitely been a lifesaver during this whole life change that I have been going through, to be able to just get on there and vent, or get on there and share a joy, or and just check in with each other. But while we're still a little bit on the subject of tarot cards, the deck, I tend to have many, many decks, and maybe that'll be another feature that Tarot Tuesdays or something, that I will share my different tarot decks and how I like to use them. And I tend to try to at least use the same deck for an entire week, and quite often for a month. Sometimes mid-month, I'll switch horses midstream because something happens, something just event-wise or seasonally or something, some shift will happen, and I'll be like, that deck isn't serving me anymore, so I'll switch to another deck. But a deck that I switched to right around Halloween, Samhain time. Of course, that was when I was dealing with the kidney stone, so I wasn't really very focused. But is this deck that, again, this was not one that I bought for myself, and I kind of bought it on a whim. And I bought it for my daughter because it's it's kind of her aesthetic. But then I thought I would open it and look at it, and I started using it, and I really liked it. So she doesn't do tarot as much anymore, so if she wants one, I'll buy her own deck. But it is the Antique Anatomy Tarot, and if you can see, elixirs, which are cups, rods, blades, and coins, pentacles. And the guidebook is nice. There's lots of, I like a book that doesn't, feel like it has to explain the whole history of tarot, but can, good basic stuff in there. This goes into numerology in tarot, which a lot of tarot guides do not. Also, the correspondences of astrology in tarot, and elements in tarot, and even color associations. And I've every now and then in one of my DIYs or crafty things, I will mention color magic. I don't do a lot of color magic, but I think anybody who's artistic and creative, that different colors have associations and can work. You can do color magic. I found that interesting in here. Obviously, if you're new to tarot, it's a good jumping off point, but it's not, a comprehensive tarot guide by any. It shouldn't be. I don't think any little booklet that comes with your deck should be your sole source of tarot knowledge, but I like the artwork. It's interesting. There was one I just saw. The Devil card, which I'm not going to dig through my deck to find, but is, I like the imagery there, but it's anatomy. It's different body parts, which can be creepy for some people. I like it. I didn't think I would, but I do like it. And also the card descriptions are short and brief, So if you're doing a daily card read like I do in the mornings before I get going on my day, it's enough to give me a jumping off point, to give me kind of a reminder. I'm not a huge tarot reader yet. I feel like I'm still learning, and but I like to read them daily, and that daily practice has definitely increased my tarot knowledge. And of course, sometimes you see the same patterns over and over again. So just those little brief descriptions are enough. And then if you have a particularly yowza of a day, or you have a reading that doesn't make sense or is confusing or maybe contradictory, two different cards in two different positions that seem contradictory, it gives you a place to start, but then you can dive deeper into other tarot books, or tarot resources. So another favorite thing from this fall are my shawls. This is probably one of the very first lace knit shawls that I knit, oh golly, 15 years ago, I think, at least. It's called the Highlander Shawl, and I literally knit this shawl after reading Outlander, the book, back in like before 2000? Whenever that book was published, I read the first 3 books in the series back to back. So whenever the 3rd book was published, I think I discovered the series and read them all. Before there was a TV show, before Showtime probably even existed. I don't even know. I'm so old. Fell in love with Scotland, fell in love with Outlander, fell in love. I haven't watched the show. I watched the first season of the show, and that's it. I have not been an Outlander super fan, but back in the day, I was an Outlander super fan. But this shawl pattern was in a book of Shawls, written by Cheryl Oberle, and so we had the same last name, Folk Shawls, and I probably still have it somewhere in my stash. But it's a hand spun raw. This is natural wool. This is the color. It's from black sheep or dark brown sheep, and that I bought at a local yarn shop back in Illinois. And I love this shawl. And I took this shawl to the hospital with me, and the second trip to the ER that I had last month, because the first time I went to the ER, I was so flippin' cold the whole night or the whole morning that I was there, that the second time when I had to go, I'm like, I'm taking a blanket and a shawl, and I had this thing wrapped around my neck the whole night, and I was actually able to sleep. And when they moved me into the hallway where it was loud and bright, and it was 3 a.m, I just wrapped this thing over my head like this, and I, looked creepy as hell, but it's got enough openings I could breathe, and it dimmed the light from the overheads while I was in the hallway. So I've had this shawl forever, and it was one of my first triangle shawls that I ever knit. I have a whole cedar chest now full of hand knit shawls, but this is one of my favorites because other thing is, and I don't know that I can back up far enough here, but being a triangle shawl, I can wrap it around this way, and I can actually wrap this, crisscross it, and I can tie it back here, and it keeps my shoulders and neck and my hands free. So kind of the design of it. So it's it's a perennial fall favorite. Every time the weather starts to change, I pull this sucker out of the cedar chest and I carry it around with me everywhere. It's actually pretty lightweight, but it's still a wool shawl. So when I don't want to have a wool shawl, I have a silk scarf is my second choice when the weather starts to get chilly, and I can just wrap. This one is hand painted or hand dyed. I bought this at an art fair in Seattle a couple years ago when we were out in Seattle, and I just loved the colors. It's all my colors, teal and blue and green, and it's 100% silk, and silk is amazingly warm for its weight. So and I have a couple other silk shawls or silk scarves that I like just for that purpose. I don't like a cold neck, and sometimes I don't like the scratchiness of wool, and I can just wrap that around. There's a couple other things on my list that have saved me over the last couple weeks. One is a wedge pillow for my bed, and I've had this wedge pillow again, probably 10 or 15 years. It was in the closet, you know, I wasn't using it. Now I use it almost every night because I like to read before I go to bed. And when I was not feeling well over the last couple of weeks and spending a little bit more time in bed, resting and recovering, it was invaluable. And I got a new cover for it on Amazon. So I will link in the description. Actually, we'll show you a picture of this wedge pillow in my bed here, and then link in the description something similar in the cover that I got for it. If you're a reader, get a wedge pillow. Another product, again, this is not sponsored, and it's just something I purchased that I like and use, and that is the Flint Candle Company. Flint, I'm from Michigan and originally years ago, and Flint is not far from my hometown. Flint's had a bad rap over the last number of years. So to find a small artisanal business that is, you know, from Flint and trying to make it, I've got to support the home team, so to speak. And I ordered incense and candles from the Flint Candle Company earlier this year. And of course now it's fall, so it's candle burning season. I light a candle almost every night in my house, or some incense almost every day, either during meditation or before I go to bed, or just, you know, just for the ambiance. It's getting, you know, we had to time change a couple days ago, so now it's dark early, and so I just like to light a candle. So my Flint Candle Company incense and candles are wonderful. They're lovely scents. They have a lot of interesting scents. My favorite candle that I got from them is the incense and chai candle. And then I have a variety of their different incenses, and you can even get a sampler pack of their incense if you like. So try that out, check that out. I will leave a link to them in the description, and so you can check them out. But again, it's not sponsored. It's just, I like them. I'm going to share them with you. Finally, how I have been spending my time. I had a lot of time here where I had to just rest. And for me, just lying around doing nothing can be either the easiest thing in the world or the hardest thing in the world. And also during the experience of this kidney stone that I went through, I had to keep my mind off of the pain for a while there. So the one night while I was trying to muscle through and not go to the hospital again, unsuccessfully, but I did make it for a few hours, I was just watching YouTube videos, and I have a long list of a variety, a very eclectic mix of different YouTubers that I watch depending on what kind of mood I'm in or what I'm interested in. But this month, my guilty pleasure, my YouTube pleasure, has been watching all the Chateau YouTubers. And I had discovered Stephanie Jarvis, the Chateau Diaries. She's probably maybe the most well-known one out of all of them. And she's, you know, beautiful and lovely. And Chateau Lalande is just a fantasy. Every little girl's fantasy, I think, is to live in a French castle, right? And be, you know, this beautiful life. But I also it kind of came at me from, as things do, you know, the spiral is circling, and I've already, you know, on one spiral, but then all of a sudden something else comes in and reinforces it. And a topic potentially for another video is this opportunity. I don't even know if it's an opportunity, idea that has landed in front of me like a cardinal on a branch on a snowy day. It just keeps distracting me and attracting my attention with its vivid colors and potential, but I'm just trying to ignore it and let it go. But because of that opportunity that maybe we'll talk about at some point, other people said, oh yeah, you could totally do that. I could see that's a you know, a thing you could do, and you could have a YouTube channel about it and it would be just like the Chateau people. And I'm like, oh, I watched that couple videos, that one Chateau gal. What are they talking about? Oh yeah, these people, they buy these old, you know, rundown decrepit chateaus in the countryside of France, and they start a YouTube channel and they renovate these chateaus, and you follow along, and people donate to their Patreon, and they're send them stuff and blah blah blah, and they share it's a vlog, and I'm like, oh. So then I went and tried to find some of these chateaux, and I got sucked in, fully 100% addicted. Want to buy a chateau or an opera house. If you know, you know. And again, maybe there will be a future video talking about the opera house opportunity. This opera house is this damn cardinal that just keeps landing on the branch, trying to get my attention, and I keep shooing it away, and then I'll see another bright flash of red out of the corner of my eye, and I turn, and there's that damn opera house again. So if you're interested in the opera house, well, like and subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and if I do a post about a video about the opera house, you'll be the first to know. If you want to know more about the opera house, leave me a comment and go, come on, Beth, tell us about the opera house, and maybe I'll tell you about the opera house. The opera house led me to the chateaus, and I have been watching the different chateaux, specifically Michael Petrick. Sorry, Michael. I was under the influence of kidney stones and pain relievers when I was watching most of your videos, so please forgive me for not remembering how to pronounce your last name. But he's adorable, a British young man who his brother and sister-in-law and himself bought this French chateau, and I basically watched him renovate his gardener's cottage. It's very addictive. So that is what my main addiction, video addiction has been this month, is all the chateau YouTubers. And so if you know of any opera house renovator YouTubers out there that I haven't been able to find yet, drop a link in the comments for me so that I can watch somebody else do what I really can't decide if I want to do or should do or am meant to do, or yeah, we'll talk about it. So these are my fall favorites. I'm going to have to try to come up with some other favorites for you for next week. If I do this on a weekly thing, maybe it needs to be a monthly thing. But I tend to go down rabbit holes. I tend to get addicted, I don't know if that's the word. But yeah, I tend to get, really into things for a brief period of time, sometimes longer. And what's been bringing joy to my life, and either ease or joy to my life. Let me know what your fall favorites are. I don't know if you're a pumpkin spice person, but I discovered this today at the Together coffee shop in Highland Park, Chattanooga. And it is a nougat fog. It's an Earl Grey latte with lavender syrup. So it's kind of like a London fog, but it's got a little more nougat-ishness to it. It's delicious, but I've let it get cold, and so I guess I'm going to have the rest of it cold. But that's, again, another one of my favorites that I treated myself with this morning. So make yourself a cup of your favorite warm beverage, wrap up in whatever that makes you feel cozy and warm, and enjoy the new season. And thanks for joining me.